See, this is the Natural Shocks project where we're developing plays from Shakespeare extracts, and you have Macbeth. Right, so can you tell me a bit how the planning has been for the scene that you're going to be writing?
Well, planning's been really good because it's been interesting to actually revisit Macbeth and see all the different things that people have done with it in the past, and look at the original Shakespeare with a completely different head on, and like in a way that I've never done before. And have really got enthusiastic about Shakespeare's use of language and his inventiveness with language, and found that really inspiring, and that's the track I want to follow with this.
Great. And what are those your ambitions? Any more ambitions for your next phase, do you think?
Yes, I want to invent lots and lots of new words, and the absolute ambition will be to see if I can sneak a few into the English language that can be found in 10 years' time.
Brilliant. Thank you. Right, okay, moving on to Colin. Colin, who has his extract from Much Ado About Nothing. So tell us, how did you find the planning for your piece?
Extremely daunting.
Why is that?
Because I hadn't got a clue what I was doing. So I just scribbled down a lot of ideas, and now that we've come up with one, or you've agreed to one, I can't wait to get stuck into the dialogue. Yeah.
Okay, so is that your any other ambitions, or is that just the one for the next phase?
I'd like to play for England one day.
Well, I think that's a very worthy ambition. Yep, great, thank you. Phil. Oh, crumbs, let's move you back about, yeah. Yay. Phil, tell us about, you have a piece from King Lear, which is about Gloucester, between Gloucester and Edgar. So tell us, how's the planning been for you?
I decided quite early on I wanted to translate it to the criminal underworld, because, with Lear, he's obviously can be translated to the head of an organised crime syndicate. The challenge was to take an absurd suicide attempt of someone falling over on his knees in a field, and coming up with a credible suicide attempt. And I think I've done that bit. Moving it forward, I'd like to come up with a credible story that uses the same.
So there's that ambitions for your next phase then?
Yeah, is to explore that father-son relationship that Shakespeare had going, but perhaps a slightly different ending.
Exciting. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and whizzing round now, we'll go to Helen. Hello. So you had a piece from Hamlet, and that's the closet scene between Hamlet and Gertrude. So tell us a little bit about how your planning went.
I really enjoyed the planning stage because I was doing researching about Freud, Oedipus and Electra. So I've had interesting reading and discovered that the Oedipus complex appears in the ages between about 3 and 5. So it might be interesting to look and see what might have been happening to Hamlet at that point, or to think about what might be.
And ambitions for the first draft?
Ambitions for the first draft, I need to work on translating what I've already written into a contemporary language, but still keeping the poetic language that I enjoy writing in, and I need a better interaction between characters.
Fabulous, thank you very much. Michelle, right, tell us a little bit about As You Like It. So you've got the Phoebe and Sylvia scene as your trigger fragment. So how have you found planning?
I found it really interesting. I was very lucky in that there was a live streaming of the National Theatre production at the SJT, so I went along to see that, which was really interesting, and it brought alive a lot of the things that I hadn't thought of, but then seemed to skim over some of the things that I thought were quite important. So I've done a bit of background reading as well, and some on themes of the plays and that, to sort of fill in some of the bits I didn't know. So I've been looking at setting it in a contemporary scene, so I'm looking at Centre Park, so that's been quite interesting, trying to give it a more contemporary twist. But my ambitions are to bring it in at the right length, because I know I'm going to maybe overrun a bit. So trying to keep it to the right length, and also within the limitations of where we're going to be, where the plays are going to be put on. So I know I've got limitations on props and set and things like that, so trying to take all those things into consideration are going to be my main challenges.
Excellent, thank you very much. And Faith, tell us a little bit about Twelfth Night. How's the planning been for your section? You had the Olivia and the Viola scene, so how did you develop that further?
Well, I did a lot of revisited the play. I have read it before, revisited it for the purposes of this exercise, and I've also done, like the rest of the gang, lots of research, critical reading, and I think the main thrust that I've got is that it's the gender idea, or the slippery idea of gender, and what I aim to do with my section and my trigger is to actually sort of embellish that a bit more if at all possible. And my ambition really is to get something written which has the full journey of the two characters by the next session. So I'm wishing myself luck with that.
Yeah, I'll get there.
I will do.
Right, so yeah, next session, first drafts all round. Thank you very much, everybody.